Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's Motivational Moments. I'm Deb Cottle, and I am your host, and I appreciate you joining me. It's about 10 or 15 minutes of inspiration, sharing stories, information, whatever the Spirit decides to move us in the direction we need to go. And if you miss this episode, it will stay on the page. It also will be transferred to YouTube, and that way you can catch up on these segments every week if you miss them. Sometimes it's not easy to stop what you're doing at 12 o'clock to tune in and listen. But since it's the Domestic Violence Prevention Month and awareness, I thought it was important that we talk about that subject. And one of the people that I wanted to highlight in our segment today, because she's someone that is a woman with guts, is Denise Brown. Denise is the sister of Nicole Brown Simpson, who was murdered. Her sister was murdered in June of 1994. She was married to O.J. Simpson. Most of us can remember that horrible day and experience, and the TV coverage that went along with it. You can only imagine how that must have affected Denise and the rest of her family and the children. It's beyond belief. But Denise is a woman with guts, and I had the extreme pleasure of meeting her on Amelia Island at Walker's Landing for an event for Micah's Place, which is our domestic violence shelter. And she was here to deliver a speech at a fundraiser, and a group of us had a table, and we were there to hear what Denise had to say about domestic violence prevention and the causes that she supports and the things that she has done since the time of her sister's murder. So that was about in 2009, and I actually met Denise in the ladies' room before she went on to talk. And I thought, oh my God, she was just so nice and so approachable and so sincere, and really had passion for spreading the message of how to prevent domestic violence in your household and in the world. And she was traveling all over the country giving talks to groups like ours about domestic violence prevention. I was so moved by her, and that was before I heard her speak. After the talk, I was moved even further to get to know her better and her mission. We talked after it and got to be friends. And then a year later, actually only about 6 months later, Stan and I traveled to California, where Denise lives, and we filmed her in the first ever Women with Guts documentary. Denise was our first interview that we did, and coincidentally was right around the anniversary of her sister's death, and she was like, nope, I'm doing this. I'm here for you. Anything I can do to help. One of the reasons that Denise is a woman with guts is the fact that without her knowing the 4-step guts formula, she has lived it. And remember, the guts formula stands for G, gain knowledge, U, use positive affirmations, T, train your thoughts, and S, set realistic goals. What set Denise apart, I think, from probably many others that may have been going through something like this, is the fact that she took action. She did not know anything about domestic violence or anything that was going on in her sister's life at the time. And she didn't know anything about it until the unfortunate murder of her sister. But after that, she and her mother gained knowledge about the subject. They didn't know anything. They were like, oh my God, how did we not know what was going on beyond, right in front of our eyes without even knowing what are the signs? What can we do to help? How can we prevent this from happening to someone else? So they went to domestic violence shelters all over California. They read books. They talked to counselors. They talked to anybody that could give them information that would be helpful, that they could spread that information to others. So she was a pioneer in that movement way back. So she took action right away and she gained knowledge. And then she had positive affirmations going. She admits to that in the documentary. She was very positive. She's positive about her message. She didn't dwell in the negativity of it. And she didn't go into the poor me, I'm a victim routine that some people are tempted or can do. In fact, one of the best quotes I've heard is from Lou Holtz, and he says, life is 10% what happens to you, but 90% how you react to it. So Denise decided to react to it by taking action. And then she trained her thoughts. She couldn't do what she did and continues to do on a regular basis, spreading knowledge and information and inspiration about how to prevent domestic violence in the household, in your community. So she had to keep her thoughts positive. She had to keep them focused. And then finally, she set realistic goals and realized them happening because she was only one person. And she was traveling nonstop around the country, giving talks. And it was just too hard for her to continue doing it the way she had been doing it. So she formed the Elite Speakers Bureau. And she was able to attract and continues to attract speakers that are experts in the field of sexual abuse, domestic violence, authors, psychiatrists, psychologists, sports figures, motivational speakers, which actually, thank you, Denise, I am part of her group with, and now it's Elite Speakers International. So she decided that she would basically clone herself and let other people help spread the word. So I really, really believe that we all have a mission in life. We shouldn't wait for something to happen as dramatic as it happened in Denise's life. Yeah, she had no control over that, that's for sure. But think about the things that you're passionate about and how can you become a woman with guts and rise above the norm, do things out of the box, help others in ways that you actually could never have dreamed of doing, but you do it. I'm so passionate about this subject. In fact, fast forward, Micah's Place, the domestic violence shelter that I spoke about, that in 2009 attended their fundraising event where I met Denise Brown. I am now on the board, have been on the board for a couple of years, and serve as secretary. And it is so rewarding, and the knowledge that I have gained and how I have been able to help others in this situation has been invaluable. So make it a great month. Think about domestic violence prevention and awareness, and do your research. Go on the websites that are provided to you, either locally or nationally, and see what you can learn. And maybe there's somebody that you can help and help them with the tools and techniques, either motivating them or guiding them to important hotlines or any information that they may need to come on out on the other side and live a better and more fulfilled life. So thank you for tuning in. Have a fabulous month, and I'll catch up with you next week. Thanks.